Ben here with a quick disclaimer. My audio in this episode is a little bit shitty, so we apologize for that. But otherwise, enjoy. Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello. And I think we are going to jump directly in this fine evening to some click picture. Trevor?
Yes.
Would you like to explain to our listening audience what click picture is?
On the count of 3, 2, 1, enter. Ben is going to enter a random image into Discord. We will explain the picture to the listening audience. Oh, I say Ben is typing, so it's already ready to go. We will explain the picture to the audience, and then we will make a game design on that picture.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1, enter.
Okay, so we have what looks to be an elderly Asian man who also happens to be an egg in a carton.
It's an egg in an egg cup.
Yes.
In an egg carton, yes. I mean, this goes straight into our kind of go-to thing of anthropomorphic creatures and food. Yeah, well, food especially. That's true. We haven't explored the dairy side of the Star Wars universe if we really want to talk about anthropomorphic food.
Well, given that eggs come from animals, it's kind of must be early on in the Star Wars universe, because we've never talked about animals in the Star Wars universe because I think they're all dead.
Yeah.
But what came to mind straight away was Humpty Dumpty.
Okay.
So I can sort of see this
the origin story.
This wise Humpty Dumpty. Maybe this is, quite an old egg, maybe a centuries old egg.
Ew. Okay.
You know that's a delicacy in some cultures. But he's training a younger egg in the art of war, or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I do like this idea of exploring Humpty Dumpty and exactly why he's sitting on that wall.
Yeah.
Is he a lookout? Is that it? Is it like...
Was he just
surveying?
resting? Was Humpty Dumpty just resting, and then the thunderous noise of the horses coming along behind him,
the king's men and the king's horses,
startled him, and he fell off and cracked himself?
Well, I mean, is this the egg society against the king? Like, were they holding out against the king, and hence all the king's horses and all the king's men? They didn't want to put him back together. He was the enemy. And the wall that Humpty Dumpty was sitting on was the wall they were building to keep out those very king's men and king's horses.
Okay, so is this now we've got Humpty Dumpty's granddaughter who's wanting to rise up and lead a revolution against the king?
Yes, it is.
Where do these eggs come from, though? Is my question.
I was going to get there. From a gameplay perspective, I'm almost seeing this as like an RTS.
Yes.
Which we don't do very much of.
No, because I don't like them.
Yeah, but they're a valid gameplay format that should be discussed.
Yes, they should be discussed and then discarded.
Well, that's fine, because that's what we'll do at the end. Mostly because I kind of like the idea of... And look, it doesn't have to be like full-on StarCraft-esque, like clicks per second RPS. It could be a bit more of a kind of empire building, maybe a bit more of like a Settlers, but with some combat and stuff. I just really like the idea of building walls and putting eggs up onto them and then watching them all like fall and crack during combat.
They're very passive sort of side, but they're there just to show the atrocities of the king.
Well, I'm picturing full on. You've got like you're playing the egg society, and you're building the walls up and having to like find resources and man those or egg those walls.
Oh god,
man those walls with eggs. Like
when you
egg
said
archers and egg.
When you just said egg those walls, I just pictured eggs lining up against a catapult, just waiting to get in and launch themselves off at the castle.
Yeah, well, I mean, you might have some suicide eggs. It's possible.
Okay, so what are the eggs up against? What is the king?
What is the king?
Yes.
Okay, good question.
What is the arch enemy of eggs?
Is this a case of like whatever created the eggs, like they're rebelling against their parent as such? Where, well, I mean, let's just say chickens, right? Mm-hmm. Most people think of chickens when they think of eggs.
Yes. So these eggs who decided, or that weren't fertilized and they were discarded, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, you could have an interesting thing around. Now I'm just picturing what happens when an egg in this society ends up that they're fertilized and a fucking chicken starts breaking out of them.
Oh, it's
like an alien bursting out.
Yeah, it's literally that they're they're a spy in the midst. Yeah, and then they start shaking a little bit and they just explode in the middle of like
this is the little chick
of this cafe.
Okay, I love that.
Oh god, it's
all
so
right,
dark.
I'm liking the world we're building. The eggs versus the chickens. I feel like the eggs have to have like enslaved some chickens, and they just got them laying to like create to like bulk up their armies. There's no chance of them being fertilized. It's all
because
hens.
They literally just kill the roosters the second that they hatch. They can just tell.
Well, this is the thing. They don't get fertilized. They only ever took hens.
No, but what we're talking about is like there's some suicide bombers who got captured and were released in captivity sort of thing, and that's how they got the hens.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right. From the other side.
Yes.
So you're saying, okay. Right. So are we saying that when the chicken side has an egg that has been... They know that it's been fertilized, and so that egg is on their team, their side.
Yeah.
Or it's just all their... They just take all their eggs. Like, all their eggs are on their side, because they're their children, and they indoctrinate them into their ways.
Yeah.
And it's just... There's this, like, rebel group of eggs who... Either they have some friendly hens, or they've enslaved some hens, where they know they're not going to get fertilized. Like, there's no chance of breeding of more chickens here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just picturing that. You're playing on the egg side, but then after a while, you actually start seeing some of the atrocious living conditions of these hens and that sort of stuff, and you start wondering whether the team that you're playing for is actually, in the right, or whether really they started this whole thing.
All right. I feel like we've moved away from the RTS idea.
Oh, no, we can... I was thinking this is sort of like, if you remember Warcraft 3, there was, like, stuff at the end.
Okay. It's sort of a bit more... It's almost a narrative... Yeah, there's, like, the narrative RPG sort of stuff, and you maybe have some key characters who you play throughout.
Yeah, sort of like I did like that in Warcraft 3, where they changed it and added some heroes in that you were still playing the typical Warcraft sort of game, but you were also, controlling a single hero that could sort of have special techniques and that sort of stuff. And I think in the narrative bits in between, that's when you start seeing, this team had to take shelter in this old abandoned warehouse, and that's where they found like the caged hens, and there's literally cages everywhere, and it's like,
so you start making it an allegory for like egg production in
battery farms and all that sort of stuff.
Free range. but you'll never take our free range.
What I'm picturing that happens in the end is some of the big generals, start sending some of the new eggs as soon as they're laid straight into boiling water, turning them into hard boils. So they didn't even have a chance to live, and they just launch them at the
Oh my god! They're just sacrificing their children to be projectiles.
Yeah, that's how evil that things have gotten.
That's pretty rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, as dark as it is, I just think it's funny having a battlefield covered in like broken, cracked eggs.
Oh, with,
and
oh my god, the white's coming out, and then they get hit a couple more times, and yolk starts spilling out.
Yeah, totally. Like someone trying to hold the yolk in as they stumble across the battlefield because they've been shot through the guts.
You could have like a big, Saving Private Ryan scene at the start of like this battlefield just covered in yolk.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yolk and chicken blood.
I guess that's the thing. Are the chickens just sending the eggs to fight, or are the chickens fighting themselves?
Well, I'm thinking for the most part the chickens are fighting themselves. Every now and again they send a suicide egg.
Yeah.
In, but basically the general knows pretty much all the suicide eggs that come through because he can just innately tell that they're not made of just yolk.
Well, you get upgrades to like, maybe you literally have to build ultrasounds or x-rays, like section, like what do you call them? Checkpoints in your base. Because I kind of like the idea. I actually like the idea of this being less of a traditional RTS with like StarCraft and stuff, and more like a building game where, like, if you say, okay, I want to put a wall here, then all your little worker eggs like come out and have to bring stone or whatever and like build up the wall and do like over time. It's not like an instant build kind of thing. It's more of a slower paced, build up this have a bit of economy stuff within the base where you need to like gather your stone or different things and have your little workers and stuff going around and train up your egg warriors.
Is this
because then it's going to make it even more like when they fucking fire a hard-boiled, sacrifice egg at your wall and it brings it down, you're going to be like, fuck, that's ages to build. And all your eggs that are on top of it come tumbling down and cracking. It's going to, you're going to feel it.
Okay, I think we should move on.
You mean 15 minutes on at half baked? Well, half baked doesn't work. Hard boiled? I don't know. On a not great RTS about eggs is not enough? Okay. Fine. Well, we are going to move on to Click Pitch. And this is very similar to the last game, but instead of a random image, we have a random word generator in front of us. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we're each going to get a new word. And we're going to jam those words together, turn them into a game design. 3, 2, 1, click.
Icon.
Cardboard.
Cardboard icon. You know that I think cardboard icon, and I immediately think a Blockbuster Video in the 1990s.
Okay.
And
why is that?
Because I think the big cardboard cutouts are, displaying a movie, but it's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger or a
like the
Rambo
icon of a iconic kind of character.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a cardboard end. And I'm sort of seeing, this anthropomorphic world of Blockbuster Video.
A Toy Story-esque situation where the cardboard cutouts come to life.
Yeah. Including, but only the cardboard cutouts or the, it's sort of almost, maybe the posters are fine. They also come to life, but they can't go anywhere. The cardboard cutouts can actually walk around somewhat. But,
well, yeah.
The pictures on the DVDs aren't sentient as much.
Okay. That's fine. I was kind of. It'd be interesting if I was kind of thinking maybe, but maybe you solve this with the posters. But like, I was almost thinking the DVD or video. And let's go VHS, because if we're going blockbuster video, we'll go with VHS. They're almost like the paintings in Harry Potter, where they're the little sort of characters, and they've each got their own personalities, and they can, if they're next to each other, maybe they can like run into the next one. Whereas, the cardboard cutouts are kind of the actual things that get to move around the video store. And
I see them almost as they're the ones that are making sure that, you know, all the pictures don't get out of line, if you know what I mean.
Like visiting each other's...
Yeah, so making sure that when it comes time, that all the pictures are back in the right spot by sunup.
Yeah. They're just they're basically the leaders of this little community.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Woody in Toy Story sort of takes care of the rest of them and guides them in certain ways and tells them, to like stay in their places or get into places and organizes things. In this case, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 2
making sure that the poster version of Sylvester Stallone isn't visiting the poster version of Arnold Schwarzenegger in like
they're just hanging out playing cards. But, you know, you also have to make sure that Sarah Jessica Parker is back in her poster from her hit movie, The
Hocus
Family
Pocus.
Stone. There you go. All right, I like this. So the world, we've got the world, we've got the kind of setting. What's the game?
What is the game?
What are we talking here?
You play one of the cardboard cutouts, and it's your first day in the blockbuster. So you're being shown the ropes by an old, like, slightly bent over Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. You're the hip new Arnold Schwarzenegger from like Terminator 3, and and you've got in there, you know, the Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone 2 that's
been there for
all beaten up
a decade
and telling you how to do your job, and you know, these are basically it turns out that it's all spot the difference sort of puzzles at the start.
Okay. So you're given like 2 copies of the same VHS, and you're like, hey, Bill Murray, get back on the front of that Ghostbusters VHS. I can see that you're not there because the Bill Murray over from this one is there. And then Bill Murray on this one makes a bit of a quip.
Hey, Bill Murray from Ghostbusters 2, get back into the Ghostbusters 2 VHS. Get off the Ghostbusters 1. I know that's the better movie, but still.
You've got what? You've got Bill Murray from Ghostbusters 2 trying to sneak onto Ghostbusters 1. But I don't want to be in Ghostbusters 2. It wasn't as good. Oh my god, that's funny. You're like, come on, I know that that's Bill Murray from Stripes that snuck onto fucking Steve Zissou's whatever submarine movie. Like, you're like 30 years age difference. It's obvious.
Caddyshack, Bill Murray, get back. Caddyshack 2, Bill Murray, get back onto Caddyshack 1.
Mostly it's just Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you if you're doing a thing based around VHS tapes? Okay.
Why do I get the feeling that may he rest in peace, but Harold Ramis keeps on telling on Bill Murray? Like,
oh, definitely. It's like, excuse me, Mr. Schwarzenegger. Venkman has escaped again, and he's off flirting with Michelle Pfeiffer from Deadly Minds.
Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds. They were deadly as well. Is this almost a Papers, Please kind of situation? I don't think it's been a while since we've gone to that well, but
A Papers, Please in a fully realised 3D world? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes what you got to do is you see 3 video cassettes there, and you actually have to look at who starred in each one of these films to make sure that you're matching up these characters to the right.
To the right. You're kind of having to look at the head, the what do you call it, the credits at the top of the thing. It's like, ooh, there's meant to be 3 people on the front of this tape.
Yeah,
and then
it's
you turn over one of the other ones, and there's someone extra.
It's definitely got Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver, and Dan Aykroyd on this one, but we're Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, exactly. And then you turn over the Flatliners tape, and she's making out with Kiefer Sutherland. It's like, come on, get back on Ghostbusters.
And then you look at Cutthroat Island, and you see that Gina Davis has just disappeared because she doesn't want to be associated with that film anymore.
Yeah, and you give her a pass because it's Cutthroat Island.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. There can be 2 Gina Davises on this copy of the Last Kiss, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yep. One either side of the Samuel Davis.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Sammy
Davis Jackson.
Yeah, Sammy
Junior.
Davis Jackson. There we go. Fuck.
And he's very happy. I mean, 2 Gina Davises, how can you not be? All right, I think we'll move on from that. I love the idea of it, but I think we've exhausted. Well, I was going to say we've exhausted our 80s movie knowledge. We definitely haven't.
Definitely not.
But we've probably exhausted our audience's
patience
tolerance
for that.
and patience for that, for such. So let's move on. 3, 2, 1, click.
Enjoyment.
Smoking.
Ooh. I'm seeing this as something set back in the days where smoking was cool.
And it's still cool. Well, actually, I said that because I believed it to be true until I said it. And then I realized, wait a sec. It's not really. And even vaping is not at all.
No.
It's just actually all past.
Yeah.
We're past that. It's the end of an era. Like, smoking anything is really not cool anymore.
Yeah. So maybe it's on that cusp of like the 1960s through the 1970s where, smoking was occurring in all the films, and then, it sort of started disappearing in those later films. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing it as sort of like an impressionable youth.
So what was your word again?
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment, yeah, okay. So a hard-hitting game that tackles the controversy around smoking and the selling and marketing of such. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Where you play an anthropomorphic cigarette called Smokey. Hi, I'm Captain Nicotine.
Okay, so I'm trying to see.
Did you know that smoking can make you 3 times as smart as your fellow 5-year-olds?
I'm trying to see when
you'll be the smartest kid in your preschool.
when they changed, because it says here the Tobacco Act of 1987 in Victoria prohibited the sale of tobacco to any persons under the age of 16. So it makes me wonder whether, like, before that, anyone could actually.
I know it's illegal, kids, but if you don't buy cigarettes, you're going to kill Nicotine. You don't want that to happen, do you? You're killing me. Buy cigarettes.
Oh, no, there you go. It was raised to the age of 18, but it started in 1903 as under the age of 16. So kids 16 years and up could buy cigarettes up until 1987.
Right. It's Nicotine, the teeny cigarette.
Oh, God.
You make you smarter, he'll make you no longer wet your bed.
At 16.
New bubblegum flavoured.
It's kind of not going anywhere. Let's click again and cut that.
No, you're not cutting my songs and my Nicotine character. I worked hard on that. It's my edit anyway. I can leave it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's 3, 2, 1, click. Spook.
Conference.
Yes. Okay. I love the idea of a ghost conference of some sort.
Yeah.
Have we done that before?
We've done some other sort of...
Did we have a school? Did we have a school?
Yes. Where there were ghouls and then ghosts, and they were
teaching all the like haunting 101. Yeah. All right. Well, then this is the sequel where they're all now professional. It's all about professional spookers learning all the new technologies and techniques for hauntings and spookings.
So
spookiness.
Just to go on an aside just for a second,
Sure.
one of the things that came into my mind the second that you said spook and I had conference sitting there was that scene from The Witches where you've got kids who are in this, conference center.
Yep.
And, the doors are locked and then all the witches, take off their wigs and, they go from basically their people disguises
forms
and turn into the witches, and then they sort of attack the kids. There's something about that I'm kind of imagining these ghosts just ripping their skin suits like off. And
God Roald Dahl fucked up a lot of kids with that book.
Yeah,
like that's like a fucking masterpiece of horror.
It is. It's one of my favourite films as a kid, and I watched it not too long ago, and you know what? It fucking holds up.
I don't remember the movie. I remember the book. I remember
effects.
reading about that scene. And I remember just Quentin Blake's pictures from the book as well, and then sort of associating that with, these like... Anyway, yes, I like the idea of, okay, we're all safe behind the conference doors. Everyone can come out of their skin suits.
Can derobe or...
Yeah.
And so they literally just pull down right
Doff
from
your
the middle,
humans.
and it's like...
Doff your humans. Spirits.
Oh, okay. So I'm imagining that there's... Do you play like a kid in this game and you sort of sneak into this conference center and you're looking for something, and then all the spooks, they happen to derobe, skin suit.
Okay, yes. Is this like a stealth game then? Yeah. Sort of a narrative stealth game where you start as this kid in this hotel, and your parents or your mum or whatever is there for some boring conference, and she's had to take you along, and because she's like a single mum and it's good for her career, but she couldn't leave you behind, so she's like, stay in your room and watch TV and don't touch the minibar. And you're like, fuck this, I'm getting out of here. And so the start of it is just you're sneaking around the hotel.
Yeah.
More, as we like to do, the more mundane beginning.
The more mundane, the better. And the more scene setting, basically, I think.
Yeah, this is it. We're setting the scene, absolutely. And so you're like doing a bit of eavesdropping and kind of getting some ideas around, there's this other conference going on in the hotel at the same time, and maybe there's just some side character stuff with like a newlywed couple who you see them making out and you start giggling or whatever. Mm-hmm. They definitely die later. And
no, they were already dead.
Oh, they were dead the whole time. That's a good twist, actually, that you think they've been killed, but it's actually just they're also ghosts. I think the big twist is when you find out that your mum is actually in this Spook Central conference as well. Like, oh no, I was thinking she was there for a different conference. But okay, we could do that. My mum's a ghost the whole time. That's kind of hard to hide, isn't it? She's just always in a skin suit around her kid.
I kind of like the idea that basically what happened is she died very early on, and this ghost. She didn't want to leave her child alone, so she put the skin suit back on and takes very good care of herself.
Okay.
Making sure that she doesn't actually,
That's got some emotional resonance there that we could build upon of this mother didn't want to leave her kid alone.
Yeah.
And so okay, that's pretty good. Because, it can be about, you give the in the prologue sort of section before you find out about any of the ghost stuff, it's like, I'm sorry, little
Timmy.
It's such a boring name. I was going to go with Timmy or John or Jimmy, but it's like, fucking hell, like, how white are we? Anyway.
Penny. There we go, Penny.
Okay. I'm sorry, little Penny. Like, I know that it sucks to be here, but, you know, my new job's really important and blah, blah, blah. And the point is, her new job is, well, she's a fucking ghost and all she can do is, you know, the best jobs for ghosts are, you know, scary
haunting
people,
mansions.
Hauntings. Exactly. Okay, and so Penny is, you know, wandering this hotel and she eventually... Yeah, like, I mean, she eventually comes across... She sees some weird stuff happen. She swears she sees someone go through a wall.
Yeah.
Or, like, she sees someone that really having trouble trying to pick up their suitcases.
I'm imagining that there's like, a glow coming out from underneath this door, and then it just disappears, and an old man sort of walks out. Like...
Yeah, of, like, the toilets.
Yeah, it was basically the old man putting on his skin suit and covering up the glow.
Yeah, they have to really concentrate and they can just kind of like create a skin suit around them. And then they slough that off later when they are done with it.
Yeah.
It's like one of the ghostly powers. And maybe they can only keep them on for a certain amount of time.
So then I see the rest of it is basically you're now trying to get... It's quite easy at the very start. You go from your hotel room down to the conference.
Mm-hmm.
The whole game is you getting from the conference center back up to the hotel room.
Oh, you're just trying to get back without being caught.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, like, finding out all this stuff.
Yeah, and so now your whole thing is you're trying to sneak your way back through the hotel, but now there's things in your way that you got to go a slightly different way. You're making your way through the kitchen. You're making, you know.
Well, are they hunting you now? Like, is it that you come across their conference and you see this scene of them all pulling off their skin suits and there's blood and viscera everywhere? Before they slowly start to fade away, I think. But it's gory when they're doing it, and then someone catches sight of you, and it's like, oh my god, like this human child knows our secret.
Yeah,
you know, we can't let them.
Yeah,
get
and
away.
I think it's all a big misunderstanding. Like, when it gets to the end and they find out that, you know, your mum is actually who she is.
Yeah.
You know, whether she's high up or whether she's, you know, a lowly sort of person, then she's
maybe this was like the first conference she was going to do a presentation at. She's like made her way high enough that she's
keynote speaker.
She's got some things.
A keynote speaker.
Well, maybe not the keynote. I think she's just a speaker.
She managed to get a panel at Spook Conference.
Yeah, exactly. SpiritCon 2020. Because ghosts can't get fucking COVID, so they're fine. Yeah, so I think she's got some pull. She's a bit of an innovator in the spooking arts and has some new things to tell people and show off. And yeah, they're just trying to, like, they do want to get you so they can talk to you and tell you what's up so you don't spread it around, but like they're not being violent, they're not actually going to attack you or anything. But because you spend the whole game because you spend the whole game in stealth, like, you never find this out. Although we do have to figure out, like, if you fail at your stealthiness, what happens?
You faint. And I think, you know, that's one of the things where, you know, you faint and basically you don't quite understand what goes on. And it's sort of like one of those typical video game things of it needs to start again sort of thing. Like
so you get basically a game over screen, effectively. Yeah.
Kind of like a Dark Souls, you died, and then you start off from the previous checkpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably fine. It feels a little bit disingenuous just because when you then at the end reveal, like, hey, they were friendly the whole time. It's like, well, what about all those times I died when they caught me? Like, they could have just told me then.
You had a heart defect and you actually died.
I guess you could preempt that at the beginning and talk about how she's got like a poor heart, a weak heart, and that she needs to stay calm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when a ghost gets to, like, touches her, she just, like, freaks out and has a heart attack and dies.
Yeah. I do kind of love that.
Man. It's too much child death in this episode.
Baby
3, 2, and
eggs.
click. Yeah, exactly. Baby eggs. 12-year-olds having heart attacks. I don't know. All right, 3, 2, and click.
It's better than 6-year-olds having heart attacks.
I mean, I guess. Mongrel.
Falling
mongrel. I feel like mongrel is someone's nickname.
Yep.
Generally someone who's probably a bit scrappy, a bit raised on the streets kind of situation, that kind of archetype.
Yep.
Is this... Why are they falling? What are they falling from? Do we have full on falling and they're like falling from an airplane for some reason, or base jumping from a giant building? And why?
Is this a, falling down sort of situation?
Oh, falling down where they go on a rampage?
Yeah.
There's a bit too much like toxic violent masculinity in falling down for me. Maybe this is like the game starts at the point where a huge heist has gone wrong and you've just jumped out the window of like a 60-story skyscraper where you were like stealing from some CEO.
Yep.
And the whole game is spent falling to the ground, and it's, I don't know, almost like we did an Endless Runner, I think, where you were running down a building, but I don't think so. I don't think it's that, but...
Is this like an Inception sort of thing where you've incepted someone's brain and you've gone one level deeper, and it takes place during this entire fall to the ground? Or it's just...
Yes, or it could just be like flashbacks, or like... Yeah, some sort of technology involved where you can slow things down, or time travel, or... I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sort of getting a feel of... Did you see the new... well, it's not so new now, but the latest movie based on Judge Dredd, where they had that drug that slowed everything right down. I kind of like the idea that it's sort of based around that sort of thing, that this is almost like on adrenaline, this whole fall seems to be taking forever. And it's like, how did I get here?
I was just thinking, like, what if the entire game was like, yes, you jump out of the window, you're like, oh, fuck, I need to react really quickly, so I'm going to need to take this drug, and then from your perspective, time slows down, and then from that point, it's almost this interesting ballet, like, precision movement in slow motion of falling, where you've got tasks as you fall of like you're going to need to grab this person as they fall to like give yourself some momentum to move over there. Like it's this very it's this very intentional movement through space while gravity has its pull on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it might be a like 4-hour game, I don't know, but you get checkpoints at every floor or something as you pull off these different things to like position yourself in the right place for the next segment or something, or like pull off the right thing, or it's like maybe there's like people shooting at you from windows or helicopters or different things, and so you're doing like slow motion shots where you have to coordinate in very specific ways to like spin your body and shoot at the same time, so that you don't get shot, but you take them out. Almost like a super hot kind of deal, but it's more you're playing, or it's like a round of D&D combat. Like it takes place over 6 seconds, but you're planning and doing all this stuff in that time, and you have to like pull it off. It could even be turn-based. It's like you've got this amount of action points, and moving your arm this much takes 2 action points, and like rotating your body takes 1. This is basically this entire action scene played out in slow motion.
And you get about halfway through, then does a flashback to, sort of like the seconds leading up to you jumping out the window.
Okay.
And it sort of plays a level very similar to what you're currently playing, in that you got a split-second sort of decision on what you're going to do to actually get out of this.
Yeah, well, you could use that as, like, backstory, as, like, exposition of what happened and how you got here. And you could do a few of those, like... And if it is turn-based, like, yeah, I kind of like that idea of the sort of tactical aspect of it, where, yeah, you've taken... And it may even be, like, you need to take more of the drug to keep it going, right? Maybe it only lasts, like, 10 seconds or something, or, like, 30 seconds. And so part of your planning might have to be pop another pill. Because if it runs out, you've like... Now time's moving at regular speed and you're going to lose so much time just getting that pill back in your mouth to like extend your time.
So in reality, each high or each pill only lasts 6 seconds and you've got an 18-second fall. So you know you've got to take 3 pills.
Something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe extend it a bit longer than that, but... Or you compress that time down. I don't know, to get the sort of number of rounds or sequences you'd want. But yeah, it's very much this, like, slow motion ballet of very precisely moving your body based on the amount of time you have. And then when you get to the bottom, it, like, you get a replay of it in real time. So you just see your character fucking, like, backflipping, shooting everyone in split seconds, like, moving themselves over there, somehow swinging on a pole to lose some momentum, grab a parachute. I don't know, like, however the fuck you get to the ground safely.
Throw a bad guy into the wall and then, you know, sort of use him to grind yourself down, like, to a slight...
Absolutely. But doing it all was, yeah, you were all doing it in slow motion. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. And in fact, now that I've said that about the playback, I like the idea of having a lot of options of how to do it. And almost and I've been playing this a little bit recently, which is why it's on my mind, but almost like a Bulletstorm vibe where you've got these different moves of, like, yeah, ride a bad guy down the side of the building because he's going to slow your momentum a little, and you can, like, kick off him to get, you know, to place yourself somewhere different in this sort of area that you're falling. And yeah, as you go down, you've got all these bad guys on, like, fucking helicopters and shit that are trying to shoot you, or I don't know, whatever else, and poles swinging out and awnings to bounce off and
flagpoles to miss so you don't, you know, do that comical thing of you landing with it between
classic
your legs.
Looney Tunes. Yeah, definitely. Make it a bit more slapsticky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should click again.
Yeah. Okay. Heroin, but with an E at the end.
Lied. Lied. Lied.
The heroine lied. Okay. So we have a female protagonist, but she's a filthy liar.
Or she has uncovered a lie.
Or she lay down somewhere because she was tired. No, okay. Look, I think we do an okay job of putting women in lead roles.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's okay for us to have one who's a bit of an asshole and who lied about something.
Was it a simple lie? And now she's having to
making... Oh, I was saying, are you making a reference that I'm not getting? No, are you just saying that, is this a basic lie that she's trying to, like...
It's like, it started off as a little white lie, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and out of control.
Maybe this is like a kind of Roger Wilco Space Quest situation where she's finding herself in the role of a heroine, but she's over her head. She got there because she lied about her abilities and her skills, and she's sort of one of these bumbling heroes.
Yeah. I do like the idea that she's like a superhero sort of level person, but she lied about what powers she actually had.
Okay, so she does have some powers, but they're shitty.
They're not shitty. They're just not what she said that she had. Like, she isn't bulletproof.
Okay.
Like, she's rather squishy.
Okay, so how does she... That's fine. That's good. I like that. How does she fake being bulletproof? Or she just tells people she's bulletproof, but actually she can just, like, turn televisions on and off with her mind.
I don't know whether it's turn televisions on and off with her mind. I think maybe she's got some sort of simple mind control or something like that.
I do like the idea of a world... You know, it's always fun to dive into a world with, like, where superheroes are everywhere. That she's sort of a second or third tier super, like, powered person who, yes, has lied their way into, like, the Justice League, effectively.
Yeah.
Or at least nearly. Like, she's there to, like, audition for the Justice League. And so, yeah, she's padded out her resume, her powers resume.
Yep. The only powers that she has is she can control electricity. She can control electricity, but she's told someone...
But only static electricity. So she can, like, zap you a little bit. She can make your hair stand on end. Balloons she can make stick to anything. And she can take out computer systems, I guess, pretty well.
But everyone else believes that she's got, like, super strength and, you know, full-on electricity powers and basically is invulnerable.
I do like... Yeah, okay. So she's going through this world, faking her way through these missions, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like a point-and-click kind of deal is maybe the best way to... Because it's got to be very comical solutions, right? I feel like there's not really systems-based solutions here. Although it could be amusing to set up a whole system, like almost... I did start picturing like an XCOM kind of vibe, but you can only use your powers when your own team can't see you.
I'm almost thinking of like an Infamous kind of vibe where you're running around the city and doing all this stuff, but it's only when you've been moving for so long that you've actually got access to the powers.
You have to run across enough carpet to build up your static electricity.
And you get
stash.
upgrades as you go, and it's basically carpet samples that you can put inside your...
You build a little like static machine that like just rubs two carpet samples against each other.
No, I'm thinking that you actually get your carpet samples and you put them inside your boots and you put them, you know, inside the lycra suit and it's rubbing up against your body as you're running and
my
creating more
superhero name is the Scuffer. You can never take your feet off the ground because you have to constantly be rubbing to build the static electricity.
I think it's a great upgrade sort of path that basically you're going through a carpet, you know, a carpet court sort of place, and you find a carpet sample that no one's using.
I love the idea that you go back to like your superhero base and it's just like all carpeted walls and high shag on the ground. Fucking Vanderwall. What is it? What's the... You've got Vandergraaf things everywhere. The static electricity generator sphere thing.
Yeah. And I think what's actually happened in the past is effectively you build up enough static electricity, you can create a small shield around you. And that is impervious to bullets.
Yeah, but it lasts for a very short amount of time.
Because it's invisible, you know, you can't actually see the static electricity shield. You know, everyone just thinks, oh, wow, you know, that bullet just bounced off you. And it's like, no, yeah, it did.
Yeah, so it's all misunderstandings and, like, people having seen what they thought happened. And yeah, totally. I like it.
I love the idea of an Infamous style game as well. Like, there hasn't been one of those for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, not if you don't count Spider-Man, which was obviously the same team, but...
Yeah, it feels very different.
It does. I liked Infamous. And the sequels.
Let's go one more and then we'll do our final.
Yeah. Ooh, Covert
Love. Covert
Love. Oh my god, you play Cupid, but it's a stealth game, or like disguise, sort of. I don't know, disguising yourself.
Everyone thinks that Cupid is like this cute little cherub sort of thing, but it's like you're actually just a normal lady. When you were young, and you know, of course, Cupid looked.
Yeah, you've grown. Like, you can't be a fucking cherub forever.
Yeah. So it turns out that Cupid has like an awesome bow and arrow, and it has
that's pretty cool.
The love arrows, but
it's like a Hawkeye vibe.
She's also basically the new Green Arrow / Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That, you know, she not only makes people in love, but she also breaks people's hearts with arrows.
Oh, she's just okay. I like that moving it on from just falling in love. She's like, she controls all relationships.
Yeah.
She like surveils people. It's like, nah, you two need to break up. Fucking break up arrow to the face.
And I'm thinking it's sort of like toxic relationships that she's breaking up and trying to get these
She's basically going around trying to give people, you know, true love and their one and only and healthy relationships. But she doesn't just do that by making people fall in love. She does that by making them realize they need to break up.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love the idea of like a 30-year-old kick-ass Cupid who's like,
but instead
basically
of
a superhero running around the city.
Instead of the typical superhero of tight leather and all this sort of stuff, which is really not workable. I'm picturing that she's literally in tracksuit pants and is feeling really comfortable the whole time and can basically sneak around quite easily and sort of
I think
isn't in that skin tight sort of stuff.
I think you could probably take. I mean, there must be useful clothing for archery, right? Like, even if it's just the gloves or something. So I'm sure we could look that up and find what is comfortable and useful for archers, and then, you know, hire some awesome artist to make it look fucking cool.
Yeah. I don't want that typical trope of
no, of course,
the Cupid's in a skimpy nappy like outfit. And it's
our long-term listeners know, we're here for a cool kick-ass hero, not a fucking male gazy, you know, sex object. So yes, definitely. I think that is a really fun, cool character. So again, almost that infamous-y Spider-Man vibe. Like, I think or like Arkham sort of thing, you know, where you're feeling like that covert superhero, being able to very easily sneak around buildings, get up close, hide, to be able to like eavesdrop on conversations, because you're trying to decide, right? Like, should these two people fall in love or should these two people break up? Yep. And you could almost, it may even be like part of the gameplay is making those decisions, and you could have some like branching paths or some like callbacks where you find the, you know, the repercussions of your decisions. Yeah.
To the point that I can almost see that the idea of using the love arrows is actually, you know, it sets people on the wrong path. As in, you know, if you go through a full run without using the love arrows, and you're doing some very basic things to get people into relationships, and maybe you've got to, you know, move some things around in the world to get them to actually fall in love. It's harder than using just the arrows, but it actually ends up being a lasting relationship, whereas the arrows somewhat
like a quick
always
fix
turn toxic.
Kind of lust-based thing, yeah. That's interesting. You could definitely, it could be that very quickly you lose your love arrows somehow.
Or they're available all the way through. It's just that, it doesn't give you the good ending. The good ending is only found through 50% of the couples that you put together are actually
you get
through
stats at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost more of a Hitman-y vibe then, in a way, where you've sort of got these different ways that these things can play out, and you can either like just shoot them with the love arrow. It's like, yep, well, they're going to get together. But if you like surveil the area and sort of listen to some conversations, you realize, oh wait, like this is the actual relationship here that's going to be stronger. You know, they think they're just friends. The love arrow is not going to work here for whatever reason. But if I, you know, give them a meet cute or a, you know, situation where they're going to, I don't know,
and
you know, affect the relationship in a different way.
The idea that, you know, using the love arrow basically sets these two people in motion that may not even be their type, sort of thing, but you sort of chemically altered their relationship.
I mean, magically altered them at this point. Yeah. That's interesting. There's definitely some cool kind of ideas that we could explore around love and relationships. That could be fun. That's cool. We haven't done a lot of that sort of stuff before, so that's cool.
I think we should get our final image.
Let's do it. We're going to move back to click picture for the final game of the show. Trevor, give me that click picture.
I copy. I pasting.
Whoa! Laughing. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
We have a bald man in an eye patch
with an
playing
abacus.
the abacus like a violin. Tucked under his chin. He's even miming the bow.
Okay.
So
I sort of see this as this is like the ferryman who is ferrying souls over the river.
Okay. And like
the
counting
abacus,
up.
Yep. Counting up the souls, and yeah, I sort of see this guy as you know, kind of a creepy sort of guy who's keeping a tally.
Now, I know we've gone there already this episode to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of a Papers, Please-esque game where you play the effectively Sharon.
Yep.
Ferrying people across the river Styx.
Yes.
But you have to make sure that, like, yeah, they're giving you they have the money, they are legitimately dead, or like there's different things where it's like, no, you're not allowed to come across here, or and then also I think there's a segment where you are actually bringing them across and you're kind of getting some exposition maybe about the character, or you're having to, like, I don't know, maybe there may be different aspects where it's not just matching up IDs and things. But
yeah, I'm almost wondering, you know, how big is this ferry that you're taking people across the river Styx in? Like, any depictions that I've ever seen are like a three person rowboat. How long does this trip take? And are these people waiting for Sharon to take him all the way across and then come back on his own?
Yeah, like how long is the queue?
Yeah. Or is this just one of like 50 Sharons? Like,
well, yeah. Has he delegated? Has he industrialized here? Has he expanded? Is he now recruiting people? And you play a low level Sharon.
Yeah. Making
your way up through
the ranks.
You know, Styx Incorporated.
And the idea is that you're actually, you know, you've noticed that the original Sharon uses a violin / abacus to count the number of souls that have gone across on each day, sort of thing. And so you're looking at how can you maximize your numbers to get up.
Yeah, well, I don't know that we need to lean too much into the violin stuff. I think the abacus is obviously useful. We could bring in the violin almost as a separate thing if we wanted, where maybe Sharon like plays violin to fucking, I don't know, inspire people or something. But yes, I like the idea of having this old-fashioned abacus that you have to like tick people off on as they go past.
You're almost weighing up their souls as well. Like you're putting points based on the story that they're sort of telling.
Yeah, well, and it's also maybe do they want to go? They're worthy. Do they have? Because I'm just trying to figure out. Like, I don't think Sharon generally like judges people particularly, but I wonder if that they want to go, or they deserve to go, or they need to go to different places in the underworld or something. And so you're kind of having to sort them in a sense. And there are different
to the different layers of hell / heaven or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're having to. There are different tells or different techniques or different things you need to look out for. It's like, you need to go to level 3 because you are a musician or something.
I know this is a bit of an aside, but I'm just picturing every time that we go back to see Sharon, the eye patch is on the other eye. So it just keeps on switching. And the fact that you start wondering, does Sharon actually really need the eye patch, or is this just a fashion statement?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm kind of picturing this as a semi-comedic game, right? Like, I don't think it's super serious.
Yeah.
And so, you can play around with those sorts
very
of
Doctor
things.
Who in the fact that he goes, bow ties are cool, and,
he's
wearing a white shirt over a black long-sleeve shirt, that's
and not just a black long-sleeve
style.
shirt, but, like, a loose-sleeved, kind of puffy like... I don't know how to describe that, but like elastic at the wrist kind of puffy thing. It's very interesting.
With a short sleeve business shirt is just unusual.
Yeah, and a bow tie. He's a character. But no, I like that idea of, and then you get to work your way up the ranks a bit, and then maybe you can even switch the gameplay up to a point where you get promoted and now you're a supervisor and you're managing like 4 low-level Sharons.
Yeah.
Or like Styxians, or I don't know, whatever you want to call them.
Well, wouldn't it be interesting if it turns out that like all the Sharons are actually clones of the original Sharon? Like, originally, it was a job for one Sharon, and there just weren't that many people on Earth. But as like the human race has actually got larger and larger and larger, he needed to do something. There was no other soul that he could actually use, so he split himself into another clone and then another clone, and basically it turns out that Sharon is just really, really old and is sort of...
Oh, so all the different Sharons are like different age, like, so they look different and they've got different styles because they've diverged from the original Sharon and are like younger.
Yeah.
But, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Because I think then, it's sort of, as a new Sharon turns up and there's a new style that sort of occurs, a change happens to the original Sharon in the fact that he now, has... a wallet on a chain, and now he also has sunglasses on top of his head and all this sort of stuff. Like, he just keeps on adding all these styles. He's wearing a big floppy hat.
Oh my
and it's
God.
like, you start realizing that basically Sharon is taking all the personas of his clones.
Yeah.
Because...
Or his sub-Sharons.
Yeah. It sort of goes back up. And...
I guess it depends how many there are. But, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm thinking there's like 12 to start off with, and then there ends up being like each one of the 12 has another 4 underneath it. So there,
God, yeah,
there you're looking at like 48.
That's a lot of different aspects for the original Sharon to take, but maybe you can use that as a story thing. Getting overloaded by all this personality, divergence.
Yeah, and the whole abacus thing that you've noticed is actually your own sort of thing. You're the only one who has an abacus.
Oh, you're the only one who uses an abacus. Okay.
Yeah. You thought that you were using it because Sharon had one, but Sharon had one because
you were using it.
Because you like the idea of keeping track.
Okay. And so is this something that just kind of comes out over time?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you play. That's cool. I like that. I like the general... Yeah, I like the general gist of having to, like,
weigh up,
your
weigh
next
up the
person
souls,
shows
weigh
up and you get a like list of deeds or something, like significant deeds, and you have to decide, like, does that weigh up, to a certain point, like, and again, maybe it's like if they've murdered anybody, then they definitely have to go to this level, but if they've also done this sort of penance, then they go up a lot. Like, you sort of have to know some of the rules and start learning these rules over time.
Yeah.
Where you can just get to the point of like, okay, scan this list. It's like a +1, +1, -1, +1 sort of situation. And you give them some tools to like click left or right to, set them as, to mark them or something. And then it's like, okay, level 6 of hell of the underworld.
So do they each have a printout of their deeds that they hand to you? So it's like a, sort of like a receipt that comes out of like a Coles or something like that. It's on this big long paper that you got to sort of go through. It's almost like a scroll, but it's that quick printing paper.
Yeah, it's like the thermal paper. Yeah, either like they come to you and it prints out of your machine as it scans them, or they like you see them all getting the scan and print out at the previous station, and then they come to you for judgment or whatever. Hand it over. And
I like the idea that occasionally they swap with someone else.
Yeah, because I was going to say that gives the opportunity for some sort of shiftiness that you also have to watch out for.
Yeah, and then you've got to actually check it against the computer screen. But the problem with the computer screen is it only shows like 1 or 2 things at a time, whereas actually on the sheet like an could ID actually be more.
Thing, like a situation where you're like matching IDs or matching descriptions or something.
Yep.
Where like the computer has the description of them in words. Obviously, they're standing in front of you, but then the receipt has, these items and an ID or something, and you have to match it up to.
And there's a photo stapled in the corner.
Yeah, but it's shitty quality and
dot matrix printer.
The Game Boy printer.
Oh God, even worse. Okay, I think that'll do us for tonight.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm. If you want to find us online, you can go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. All of our previous episodes are there. We're coming up on number 200. It's getting real close. And you can go back, listen to all those hundreds of game designs. Hundreds. And you can also check out our appearances on other podcasts if you go through to our creator profiles. We're also part of the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasts all together, networked, you could say, together, and we all help each other out and enjoy each other's work and our friends, and go check out those podcasts, 8bit.net.
And we'd also like it if you could check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. There are some big things in the works, so be on the lookout. You want to be part of this. So go look for the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook or at AGP Network on Twitter. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
What an excellent episode.